Yeah, so I've mentioned the Arawaki Indians, indigenous people, the Taino tribes, the indigenous people, and yeah, so they shared similar features and physique with the Mexicans. If you look at Mexican people, their skin tone and their features, they shared very similar like this. So this is what I'm saying, that there were like indigenous people on them islands as well. It's not just every Jamaican, every Caribbean person is just like comes from Africa. We have African DNA as well as indigenous DNA to the Americas and to the Caribbean, as well as multi DNA from around the globe, because it wasn't just African people that were enslaved. The Chinese were colonized as well. The Indian people were colonized as well. So Chinese people ended up on the Caribbean Isles as well due to colonization, as well as the Indian people ended up being colonized and ended up on the islands as well due to colonization of the British, of the French, of the Spanish. So because of that, this is why we have this melting pot of cultures on those islands. So every Caribbean, every Jamaican person is not just like, oh, you know what, you need to go back to Africa. Oh, you need to go learn about your roots and go back to Africa. What I'm saying is we're a melting pot of all different tribes and people and nations from all around the world, as well as indigenous to the lands. And people need to really understand this, okay, what I'm talking about. And yeah, so we share that DNA with the Mexican people. And if even you look into the history of the Americas, and I mean, I've only just touched the surface. Yeah, this is what I'm saying, is that I want to myself educate myself and enlighten myself on all of these things that I'm talking about right now. Okay. If you look into the history of the Americas and the history of South America, okay, even the word Mexico, it comes from some Mexican word which was the indigenous tribe of those people. And there was another tribe, South America, the Olmec people, they were called. So they were dark-skinned, negroid nose featured people on the island of the Americas before even the slave trade. And people really, you need to go and learn. You need to educate yourself about these things to understand that every black person you see on the American continent, in the Caribbean, right, it's not just a fact of, oh, you come from African slaves, because there was already black, dark skinned, Africanoid looking people on the American continent. So that's the conclusion of my point for now. Yeah, go watch the last maybe 10 or so videos to understand what I've been talking about. Yeah, in South America, there's these big statue heads with Africanoid features that were found. Um, and when they're dated, how far back they've been dated is like from even before the slave trade, right? So what I'm saying is, right, Africanoid and black history, it goes just the same as Asian history, the same as Indians, you're so proud of your culture and the history of how long your like philosophy and your religions and your culture has been around. Okay, I'm saying, right, it's the same for us as well. Our history, the slavery, right, is this much minuscule. The history of the slave trade, right, and what the British, the French and the Spanish, it's this much minuscule, had this much minuscule impact, okay, compared to how vast people of the African and indigenous lands, how vast and ancient their history is. And people really need to enlighten themselves about it. The same way Indian people can tell you who were all their gods from thousands and thousands of years ago. Yeah, who all their gods were and how, you know, who invented what and who did this and who came up with this philosophy and that philosophy, you know, and they can tell you all about famous monuments and all of this from 10,000 years ago, yeah, and 5,000 years ago. Okay, the African and indigenous lands of the Americas has as much vast history, and people need to get educated about it, and so that we can, as a people, we need to educate ourselves about it, so that we as people can reference ourselves to the truth of who we are and where we come from. You know, our true identity, instead of always having these other people, these other nations, these other races always trying to tell us who we are, what our identity is, who we're supposed to be. That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Thank you. Bye-bye.